This is Lawrence Lane, and today I'm just outside Peterborough and have been invited to talk to the D'Oyly Carte soprano, Alison Charlton-West. Hello and thank you. Although during your time with the cart you were actually known just as Alison West. So where did the Charlton come from?
That's my mum's maiden name.
Oh, right.
But I was christened Alison Janetta Charlton-West.
Right.
And my mum said when I was at the Royal College of Music, she said, why don't you change your name to Charlton-West? I think she just wanted to put her name in there. I said, OK, Mum, I'll do that for you. Otherwise I would have left it as just Alison West. Didn't bother me. There was a Kevin West that was there.
Yes.
But it didn't make any difference. She was a man and I was a female, so...
You joined the company in May 1977 and stayed with them until September 1979. From what I understand, you were one of the youngest people ever to have joined, having auditioned at 17 and then started when you had just turned 18. What was it like being in such an established company that was touring for 48 weeks a year at such a tender age?
Well, it was the most amazing experience I think I've ever experienced.
Right.
And being so young, it was all I wanted to do was just sing, basically.
Right.
Prior to that, I'd joined the local Gilbert and Sullivan Society
Right.
in Poynton, and I'd had a few. I sang a few soprano roles like Yum Yum and Janetta and Angelina.
Right.
And just a few concerts and that. And then a friend of mine had said, oh, the D'Oyly Carte Opera Company are coming to Manchester and they're auditioning for Iolanthe. And would you like to go along and audition? And he must have seen the advert in the stage or something. And I said, oh, yeah, OK, I'll go along with that. And I had some singing lessons, so I thought, well, I'd just go along and have a go.
Right.
So
that would have been Michael Hayland's new production.
That's right.
Of,
that was
Iolanthe.
yes. That's right.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that production. But how did your family feel about you sort of taking on this nomadic life at such a young age?
I think they were really happy that I was doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I remember auditioning and I sang the aria from Merry England, and David Mackey played the piano, and I remember Royston Nash being there, Jimmy Marsland, and when I walked on stage I remember thinking, oh God, this is so wonderful being on such a big stage. And after I sang Bessie Throckmorton's aria from Merry England, they said, now Alison, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 17, but I'm going to be 18 in the May. And they said, well, how would your parents feel that you've not been away from home and you're only 17? And I just turned around and said, well, I think they would be very, very happy to know that I was doing something what I really wanted to do. And besides, I said, I've got to start somewhere. Yeah. And I think when I'd said that, I think Jimmy Marsland must have thought, well, she's a bit plucky. I think he must have thought that. I don't know. But yes, being 17 and saying that, I mean, I must have had quite a lot of courage. More courage then than I do have now. Well, funny, isn't it?
Often the case, isn't it?
But they were wonderful. They were lovely in the audition. I felt quite at home on that stage in the Manchester Opera House. Yes. It was lovely.
So
yeah.
Did you get to go back to sing there when you were actually in the company?
Yes, because I was in the company for 2 years and then I had to sing, I think I sang Rose Maybud at the Manchester Opera House. Yes, I did. That was where I did it, the Manchester Opera House, 2 years after that.
Gosh, right.
Funny, isn't it?
So did the company members protect you and sort of take you under their wings?
I think... Mainly, I think they did, yes. I probably didn't realise it at the time, but I think they did. I think they watched me.
Oh, that's
and
good.
A lot of them were lovely to me, I have to say that. Yeah, they were great. I had such fun as well. Fun on stage.
Good, yes.
When we went on tour to America and that, we had a great time. Yeah, they were wonderful. It was like a big family. I'm sure everybody said that.
Oh, definitely,
you
yes.
know. So
We'll talk more about life after the cart a bit later on, but when you left in 1979, you took up a musical education at the Royal College of Music. Really, this was the reverse of what most of your former colleagues did. Did you feel that you needed this formal education to further your career?
well, yes, really. I think a lot of the girls in the D'Oyly Carte had been to music college, and they sort of steered me towards that. I remember Suzanne O'Keeffe saying, Alison, it would stand you in good stead once you leave the D'Oyly Carte to go audition. And, you know, if you want to be a singer, you need to go to college and to learn more about music, because I never did music at school, really. I was always singing and dancing, but I mean, I did O-level music, but I didn't play an instrument. And I think if my parents had pushed more for me to play an instrument, I might have learnt things quicker. I had a good ear for learning music, of course, but I think knowledge is power, isn't it? And I think if you don't feel as though you can learn things and knowing about music, I think you're stuck. I think you need, this day and age, well, even then, you need to know more about music and how it's
So although you
formed
didn't,
and all the rest of it.
yeah, so although you didn't have that sort of musical or intense musical education
No, I
at
didn't.
school, you said that you were involved in the local Gilbert Sullivan
I
Society.
was, yeah.
What actually inspired you to get involved with them?
I don't know. I think friends of mine said, "Oh, why don't you go along and have a laugh and do some singing?" I was always singing, and I think it's because we went in 1966. My mum took me to go and see The Sound of Music with
Right.
Julie Andrews, and I always thought, "Oh, I want to sing like that. I'd like to be like that," and I just always sang at home. Funnily enough, my mum played the piano, but she never made me sit down and learn to play the piano. I think because as a little girl, she had to do it. Her mother would say, right, you sit down and play that piano before you go out and you go and play. My mum was different. My mum would said, well, if you want to play the piano, you'll just do it. I don't want to push you into anything.
Right.
But I was always dancing and singing and
So it was a sort
about.
of natural progression.
I think it was really. Well, my father always used to play records of the orchestras and Tchaikovsky, and I used to dance in the front room, pretend I was a ballerina, just always singing and dancing, and I would learn by ear.
Right.
Or my mum would play it a bit. I
Yes,
would just
and
go round
so
the
repetition
piano, but I
of-
couldn't do two hands
No.
on the piano. I just learnt it.
Oh, wow.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it happens.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's why they said to go. Suzanne said you need to get to college to learn that, and I did find it difficult at
Yeah.
Royal College of Music, and I was surprised they took me on as well because they knew I couldn't do that. But the lady that auditioned me was Marion Studholme. She was my teacher, and she was the one that really helped me tremendously. Really, yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy
No.
doing that, coming out of D'Oyly Carte and earning money and performing, going back into something
Education, yes.
education. I found that very difficult because I had people younger than me that had A-level music. They understood music. Well, I understood it. I was musical, but I really had to buckle under.
Yeah.
But the D'Oyly Carte people did tell me that. I mean, I remember Suzanne saying that to me. So they did take care of me.
Yeah.
They did, you know, and even, well, all of them really. You need to go and learn about music, Alison, if you really want to do it. You know,
Put the graft in.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really before that. I was lucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of enjoying the opportunities that were
Yes,
presented to you.
absolutely right. Yeah.
A few
Another lovely experience I had was when I was at the college. I sung Constanze's aria for an audition, the Ach ich liebte from Il Seraglio, and Do you love that opera?
I love it. It's
love
my
it as well.
favourite,
I
I think, of the
adore
Mozart
it.
operas. With Osmin. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was at the Mozarteum and I did it at a competition there, and Elizabeth Schwarzkopf was there, and I think I came about 10th in the competition. And when I went back to college in 1983, after I'd been to the Mozarteum for the leader course there that I got a scholarship for, I went back, and then I was a scholar at the opera school at the Royal College of Music, and it was the centenary in 1983, and Placido Domingo was singing at the festival hall for the Royal College of Music, and the chorus, one of the choruses of the students was there, and they did the Libbiamo, and he wanted a soprano, to bring on a soprano, a young soprano, to highlight, I suppose, the Royal College of Music, what the singers that they were having, and getting them prepared to be soloists, I suppose. Well, I was very lucky again to have been picked for that, to sing with Domingo at the festival hall, which was on video by Channel 4. So I've got it in there if you wanted to have a look at it, when I was 23.
Right.
So that was another lucky thing that I did, apart from being in the D'Oyly Carte.
Yeah. You joined at a time when there were potentially 9 operas in the repertoire. Did you find it difficult learning the actions for so many shows? Did you have to learn them all at once, or was it a drip feed process?
I think it was a drip feed.
Right.
We were really well put through our paces with David, and then you have to go home and learn it. But I was good at learning.
Yes.
Then you're like a sponge, aren't you? You learn, and if you can hear it, you know how it goes, and so that wasn't. And the moves. I love the moves. If you've got the moves to do on stage with words, I mean, you're there. You just do it, don't you? Naturally. I used to do it so naturally that I was good at it.
Yeah.
I could do it. Like they all were the same. They could all do it as well, not just me. Because that's what we wanted to do.
Yes. So, with the D'Oyly Carte moves, did you find that they were the same or similar to the ones that you had done as amateur, or were you having to learn a new set of actions?
Totally different. I mean, Jimmy Marsland had there was sort of, some of them were probably twee movements, but
yeah, because at the early stages, the D'Oyly Carte used to send out to amateur groups a set of moves and instructions that these were the ones that had to be done. So sometimes with the amateur groups, if they'd sort of carried on following them.
Oh my God!
But you had obviously gone to the sort of the new inspirational directors who were doing.
Yeah, Michael Hayland.
Yes.
I think when we did Iolanthe, perhaps they changed a little bit then. I mean, I don't know what they did before in the old Iolanthe, but we had in Iolanthe we had our wands and our wings, and we had a drum majorette type of thing in when the stretch from for you dum bum 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 da 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 da. I don't think they used that before.
No.
In the Iolanthe before that, we were sort of the drum majorettes going like this. Well, you'll remember it probably when we did it. You were probably there the first night.
Not at the first night, but I did get to see it. Yes.
Yeah, and that was good to do. Any movement at all was marvellous. I loved all that.
And quite often, if your brain works in a particular way, you remember certain lines from the position of where you are on stage, or whatever it is that you're doing.
That's right. That's what you hang your coat on.
It does help the learning process, doesn't it?
That's true.
All the different things all sort of marry up together and intertwine.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were sort of talking about the Michael Hayland's new production of Iolanthe. I assume that you enjoyed that particular production.
Yeah, it was marvellous. I mean, I hadn't done any other production before that, so this was marvellous
was this
for me.
Actually, the first show that you opened in?
Yes.
Right. So it
that was
has
the very first one, very first professional show that I did. I was a little
special
fairy.
spot for you, yes.
Yeah.
I understand from what others have said, though, that the costumes weren't necessarily the most comfortable.
No, they're a bit prickly. Yeah,
They were
the
nice
wigs were a
and
bit
silvery,
prickly.
weren't they?
Yeah,
But,
they were, and used to catch on things. Sometimes the girls, if we weren't careful with our bras, you stick a bra on the end of the skirt. Somebody must have mentioned that one before now, and I think somebody one night probably did go on stage with the bra hanging on the end, but we had to watch what the others were doing to make sure there was nothing hanging on. Have you got your wings on? Oh, you know, because they came off, you know, and you'd sit in the dressing room and don't forget to put your wings back on.
I know that Michael tried to be quite radical in his ideas for this production.
Right.
He did want to change the entry of the peers.
Oh, really? Oh, you know more than me. Gosh.
And he wanted, well, this was only from conversation with Michael, but
wow.
He wanted to have the peers come on in sort of hunting, shooting and fishing gear, because he felt that, you know, if they were walking around in the countryside, that's what they'd be doing.
Oh,
but
right.
Dame Bridget put her foot down on that.
Well, I'm not surprised, because it's amazing when they come in.
Oh, it is.
You know, I mean,
Wonderful
what
scene, isn't
a
it? Yes.
scene. I've
Yes.
got goose pimples thinking about it now, and they come on with their beautiful ermine.
Yes.
And that look on their faces.
Oh.
Bow you ermine. It's just beautiful, isn't
It
it?
is,
Wonderful.
it is,
What
yes.
a spectacle that must have been.
I've certainly witnessed things going wrong on stage in the past. Probably one of the most notable for me was in Brighton during Patience, when one of the dragoons caught his foot in his spurs, fell to the floor and took most of the male chorus down with him. Did you ever witness anything like this, or, you know, have you any sort of personal disasters that haven't been revealed until this particular moment?
I think there was one. You mentioned the one in Brighton. I think there's another one when, yes. Do you know when Katisha comes in Mikado, when she comes, your revel cease? I think it was Lindsay Holland, and I think lovely Alan Spencer. I think he got his spear caught in the scenery somewhere or on the step, and the spear broke.
Oh dear.
And he went tippling over, and his wig and his hat fell off, and he had to surreptitiously move into the wings, and of course he had to come back on stage. I think it was Alan, or it might have been some other chappie, and I said, oh, what's happened there, what's going on? And that's what happened. He had to come back on stage with his little face and his wig all akimbo and his wig, and everybody was, you know,
Merrily chuckling away.
And that's, I think it's the only one I can remember. I think everything went really quite well as far as I remember.
Oh, you were lucky.
But I was lucky. Yeah, I mean, I heard about the one you were just saying in the Dragoons, and that must have been, I mean, what did they do? How did they get through that? Just walk over him and hope for the best. And they did. Was it the spurs that got locked?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think they've been instructed earlier that, you know, sort of make sure that you march with your feet suitably apart so they don't lock. And unfortunately, one of them did lock. And
Oh gosh.
even the
How
orchestra
awful.
were, those that could see were merrily chuckling, sort of trying to play.
Oh, I hope he didn't hurt
Because it's a bit
himself.
like the Piers, isn't it? It's a very stirring, emotional
Oh gosh, yes.
moment when the Dragoons
Yes.
march on.
Yes,
So
dun,
it's,
dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, dun,
and then,
dun, dun.
boom, 9 pins.
Gosh, yes, that's definitely gone down in history, that one then, hasn't
Yes.
it?
When we were chatting before we started the
Yeah.
recording, we were sort of talking about the recordings with Decca. And we mentioned Yeoman, which would have been the last one that you did,
Yeah.
but you seem to have no recollection of
I
that.
do for some reason, I don't know why. I must
But
have
you
been
did-
thinking of something else.
You did mention that you remembered doing the zoo,
Yes, like
which
the
is a
zoo.
sort of lovely little piece. What sort of memories do you have of being in a recording studio compared to being on stage?
Well, you had to just sit there and be quiet, basically, and not. It wasn't much fun.
No.
You concentrating on the music and singing, and that was it really. That's all you could do. I always remember Jane Metcalfe singing Eliza.
Yes.
I remember listening to Jane singing that.
Lovely Cockney accent.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's lovely. That's what I remember about
Yes.
the zoo. It's a strange piece, isn't it?
It is. Yes.
I mean, it's different, isn't it? And, yeah, I was glad to have been in that.
There's not that many recordings of it, so you have a place in history. I only became first aware of it way back in the early 70s. Radio 3, who normally don't have much time for Sullivan, unfortunately, did a recording of it with Ian Wallace.
Wow, Ian Wallace.
As Grinder.
As Grinder.
Yes. So, that was my first exposure to it. So then when the D'Oyly Carte did it, it was nice to have a...
Yeah. Have you got the recording? Have you got
course.
it? Is it that green? Is it green?
Yes.
It's the green one, yeah.
Although I may still have the vinyl somewhere. It's on on CD now.
Okay.
Eventually moved everything
I haven't
over.
actually got one. Isn't that weird? It's so weird. Yeah, no, I was in that. I enjoyed that really. It was a bit good crack really. When you're in the recording studio, you've got to keep quiet. You can't like being on stage when you go, you get mad.
So do you still get the royalties from that?
No,
a single payment for the...
No, I don't remember what it was, but I don't get any royalties
No,
from that. No,
dear,
no, gosh, no.
That's no good then. So as we said, you left the D'Oyly Carte in 1979 and went to the Royal College of Music.
Yeah.
But what did you get up to after that?
Well, I was at the College of Music for, I think, about 5 years, and I went into the opera school in 82, and after I was in the opera school for 2 years, we did some modern stuff, and I got a Countess of Munster scholarship, and then I joined Kent Opera.
All right.
With Roger Norrington, who was conducting, and we did King Priam, so that was quite modern stuff to do. And I covered Barbarina in Marriage of Figaro that they did. And then they did the Barbara Seville, and I covered Berta in that, and I went on for that. Then after Kent Opera, I did extra chorus at English National Opera in Meistersingers, one of the apprentices in that, and various companies. Pavilion Opera, I sang Don Anna with them. Used to do lots of spaghetti operas in London. Just, trying to make life as a singer in London, which lots of auditions.
Difficult career.
Very difficult.
Yes.
Very difficult. Even going to college, you think you'd be better off, but no, you're out in the wide world and it's hard. No more D'Oyly Carte days. They were fantastic days. D'Oyly Carte days, actually.
Guaranteed work for a year.
Yes, and then Kent Opera went. That was another company.
In 1993, you appeared with Regency Opera at Holland Park, playing Yum Yum in the Mikado. Here's a recording of you from that production singing The Sun Whose Rays.
Golden
And then what did I do? Then I went to, I was in chess, West End.
Oh, right.
I joined chess for 6 or 7 months, about 8 months I did that. And my bank manager was very pleased.
Well, yes.
Then after that, I think I went home. And then there was another company that I auditioned for called Opera Box. And we were going to do English heritage sites. And we did Don Giovanni and I sang Zerlina in that. And then I worked doing secretarial work, was a Kelly girl.
Oh.
Did that and then what else did I do? Then Swansea City Opera. I did Despina for them. You just went and did work as much as you could. I didn't really want to belong to another chorus.
No.
I wanted to do solo work if I could. And I went to smaller companies for that.
Right.
And I did quite well.
Right.
Did what I wanted to do. I did Pamina. It was Opera Box. We went travelling around.
Yes.
Mainly Wales, actually. Lovely company it was. So I was very lucky to have done that as well. So.
Oh, good. Yes.
But the days in the D'Oyly Carte, when you look back, they were really fantastic. Because when we went to America, we were just treated like kings and queens, really.
Tell me a little bit more about the American trips.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
cheap travel to...
It was wonderful travelling and going to places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Denver, and the places that we stayed in. And we got paid for doing what we loved doing.
Oh, yes.
And the theatres. I mean, the D'Oyly Carte here, it was just a dream. And and I met my relatives out in Canada when I was there. Went to Niagara Falls, and you had everybody with you like a family. You'd get on the bus, and then you'd go somewhere else, and then they would arrange for you to stay in hotels. You didn't have to go and have those digs that you would get in England. It was all done for you. It was wonderful. And Australia was the same, and New Zealand, seeing all these different places and singing at the same time. It was something that's never ever been repeated. Even in Kent Opera you didn't go abroad, those companies. I mean, if you were in the Covent Garden chorus, I auditioned many a time, but I was never lucky enough to get in. I think they used to do some travelling, but I don't think they do it so much now. I don't think the companies do travel as much now.
I think costs prevent it. It
doesn't happen now.
No.
So I was very, very lucky to have joined the D'Oyly Carte, or they were amazing to have taken me on at such a young age. I was very, very lucky.
Yes, it sounds like you had some really good opportunities.
I did.
When you were.
And I grabbed them. I wanted them. I didn't want to be a secretary in an office sitting on my backside just answering. I didn't want to do. I wanted to sing. That's what I wanted to do and perform.
Did you find the American audiences different from the UK ones?
Oh gosh, yeah, I think they were a little bit more animated, perhaps.
I think American audiences are pretty animated
thought they
for
were great.
most things.
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah, they were fantastic.
There does still seem to be some levels of greater interest with the Americans for Gilbert and Sullivan compared to the Brits, but there certainly does seem to be more of an interest in Gilbert and Sullivan at the moment, though. Whether that is just because of things like Facebook that you're starting to see more sort of groups advertising, but hopefully there is some sort of rebirth. Because it is still so topical, isn't it? With
it's wonderful stuff, really.
Like
isn't it?
Iolanthe, with the sort of political situation. Whatever colour you are.
Exactly, it doesn't change, does
red
it?
or blue,
I mean, it's forever.
Yes.
All of it, forever.
Yes.
It's so witty. You can change so much. Like they do in Coco's I've Got a Little List.
Yes.
It's all satirical, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it never... Everything's different, changes, whatever topic, what's going on in the government of today.
Yes, yeah, and we've mentioned Richard Stewart when we were talking before we started.
It was amazing.
And whenever he does it, he writes a new verse each time. He's amazing with that.
It really is.
Yes.
That's so clever, isn't
Yes. Yeah. You talked about the American tours and the hotels and everything were being provided for you, and you mentioned the fact that you didn't have to look for digs. Do you have any tales that you can think of life in digs when you were touring the UK?
I remember one. I don't know whether it was Leeds, somewhere we had to go and get our piece of paper from the stage door where we were staying.
With Peter Riley holding the letters up.
Yeah, or Ken was, or whatever. Thought, oh, we're going to go now. And we went to one, Helen and I, and what I didn't like was brushed nylon bedding.
Oh.
And I said to Helen, oh, come, let's have a look, see what the bedding's like. Turned it down. I'm not staying here. I said, I can't stay here. I'd like to talk about the Princess and the Pea, for God's sake. I couldn't have slept in brushed nylon bedding. So we didn't stay there. We got something else. Oh, thank God for that. They might have been in Brighton. I can't remember exactly. But I said, Helen, I'm not staying there. So we changed. Mainly they were pretty good, I have to say. They're okay. Yeah, pretty good.
But I would imagine at the time that you were with the company, the theatrical digs were starting to die out more. The old tradition of the company travelling around by train and everyone going into digs, because there used to be a sort of caravan groups
I never
as well.
did that. I never did that. I have heard people saying that they had caravans, and some of them did, but I didn't.
No, so you relied
I wanted
totally
a proper
on
bed. Talk about the Princess and the Pea, as I said before.
A bit more civilised.
I wanted a room.
Yes.
Yeah, and even in Kent Opera, when we used to go travelling around the digs there, it was very similar. I never went into a caravan or a caravan site. If I did, I might have done it once, thought I'm not doing that again.
So you joined as a chorister, but did you take on any of the smaller roles and any understudy parts as well?
I took on the understudy of Saccharissa in Princess Ida, and I went on for that one night.
Right.
And Julia in the Gondoliers. I did a few of those. And then I got the understudy of Casilda and Rose Maybud. And Julia Goss went off ill at the beginning of 1979, and I took the role of Rose Maybud because I don't think I could have done Casilda as well.
No.
But there was a lovely woman that did it, lovely Patty Elliott, did Casilda beautifully. And thank goodness, because Rose Maybud was quite a lot for me to cope with, I can assure you. How old was I? 18. That was quite a lot of dialogue. And I wasn't really used to doing a lot of dialogue.
Right.
I mean, not being in the chorus, you know,
Well,
you don't do it. You
no.
watch it, mind you, I watched them all the time. I watched Julia all the time. And I did do the chorus part in Ruddy Gore, so I had a chance to sit and watch to see what she was doing.
So how many times did you end up going on?
Do you know, I think I did about 4 times.
Right.
The first one is the Manchester Opera House there, and the second time was there as well. I can't remember the other place I did it. I just can't remember.
So did you get much support from the regular principals to
they
help
were
you around
amazing.
it? Yeah.
Jimmy Marsland was fantastic. Yes, I mean, they were with me. You know, and how wonderful they let me go on and do it.
Yeah,
they must have believed in me.
Wow.
And they did believe in me. That all of them thought that. It was great. It was just, I can't explain how marvellous it was. What lovely people they were as well. You could meet some really horrible ones in the music business, but not in the D'Oyly Carte. They weren't. It was. They really did look after me, actually.
No, people have said that, you know, if they've gone on as an understudy, that, you know, so often the principal has, or the regular principals have manoeuvred them into the right places, or given them the.
I think it's harder being an understudy as well, because if you're doing it every night, you get to know it. But if you're the understudy and they go off one night, you've got to be ready there, waiting to get on stage to do it.
So did you have any situations where you were understudying a part and you had really short notice?
Not in D'Oyly Carte,
No.
I didn't, but I did in Kent Opera. But it was only Barbarina. But even so, when you think, oh my God, I've got to go on tonight, how am I going to do that?
How much notice did you get for
I had
that?
about a day.
Oh, right.
About a day. That's not long enough. Some people don't even get less than that.
No, because sometimes,
lucky.
from what I've heard, is
You've
that
got to be
sort of
really
people
on
have
the
turned
ball.
up at the
It's
theatre.
hard being an understudy.
Yes.
Worse than being the principal, really.
Because at least if you're the principal, as you say,
You get to know.
you know what it is you're doing, whereas as a chorister, you've got to be on the ball and on top of your game for singing the chorus.
That's
But
right.
you've got, and quite often the understudy is understudying a number of roles, so they need to be word perfect
be
and spot on for all of them.
Yeah.
And with the D'Oyly Carte,
It's very stressful. It can be very stressful.
And with the D'Oyly Carte having a different show usually each night.
Well, I don't know how they. I mean, I didn't have that
worse.
problem. I didn't. I mean, I only did Rose Mabel because I was so young. But how the others did it, how Barry did it, I don't know, because he must have understudied what.
Rafe, Dick Dauntless.
Really?
Yes.
You see, how did he cope with that? How stressful is that? Well, I'll have to listen to see how he did it. I'll listen.
Yes.
Sorry. I didn't go through that.
No.
I couldn't have to do that. But fantastic. There you go.
So, what would you say was your greatest memory of being with the D'Oyly Carte?
Greatest memory is just being with them all. It was obviously lovely to go on as Rose Maybud, but I remember after I did the first Rose Maybud, and you're in the centre of attention, aren't you? And I thought, oh, that went really well, you know. I enjoyed that, and I think I didn't let myself down or anything. And then when I finished it, I thought, oh my God, I've got to go and do it again. And, you know, I would have done it once, don't get all the attention then. You got to do it again. That's what I found that woke me up a bit, that did. Having to go on and do it again and to remember all those lines. I did it.
Yeah.
So how they did it every night, Ken Sanford, John Reed, Meston, who was the other one? Jeff. What's his
Shelverton.
name? Jeff.
Yeah.
Julia. How did they do it?
Yeah.
How?
And Lindsay was on every night, wasn't she? Because at least John Reed got a night off with Pirates.
I mean, they must have had moments when they thought, I can't remember my line here.
No.
Or you dried up.
Which show am I in?
God, what show am I in? What am I? Oh, not that. Yeah, okay. How did they do it? Well, you've got to pay your bills, I suppose. That's how you do it, isn't it?
Did you have a particular favourite show, or maybe
Do you
one that
know-
you really didn't like?
No, I used to like HMS Pinafore.
Right.
I loved that one. Yeah. And Iolanthe. I
Right.
have to say that,
Well,
don't I?
because of
I
being
love
the
the
first one.
orchestral music of the Iolanthe. I always remember at Sadler's Wells the first night, waiting in the wings and being so excited in my little fairy costume, and the orchestra started up, and then the section with all the woodwind that comes in, and then da 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 dee da 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 dun, da 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 da, and it builds up,
Yes.
you know, and you think, oh, you've got to go on stage in a minute, and then the orchestra finishes, and then you got all the gauze comes up, and you have to stay. Before the gauze comes up, you have to stand down in your little fairy, take your pose. And the gauze comes up, and the orchestra's going. Then you start at Sadler's Wells. And I was only 18, and I thought, oh God, this is gorgeous. This is fantastic.
Can life get any better?
It was amazing. It really was. And only being 18, I suppose, I was very, very lucky. You don't think of it at the time, though.
No. No,
You
it's
go,
only...
you just do it, don't you? But I was very lucky. It's quite difficult talking about yourself and what you've done. I'm not used to that. I think perhaps all us singers don't like talking about ourselves. Nobody really asks, oh, what did you do? Oh, well, you don't talk about it.
No.
So it's very nice to talk about it to somebody who's interested, because you find people aren't interested.
No.
People don't have the time to sit and talk about it, particularly about things, about what you did.
The company was so important at the time. It's important to try to maintain some of these memories, because it was a great loss to the theatrical world.
Well, they got the new D'Oyly Carte, haven't they? But in a way, it's just not the same.
No, and that
it is similar, but
only existed for about 8 years. Well, it was never the same as the original, because they only came together for a number of months to do small tours, and usually only 2 shows in the repertoire. So
because we did quite a lot more, didn't we? We did about 9, 8. I think I did about 8 gondoliers and then pinafore and.
Until the sets and costumes wore out, and then they went out the repertoire for a while.
They were beautiful though, the costumes. I mean, my costume for gondoliers was lovely thick velvet. It was lovely costume.
Yeah, a lot of the costumes were designed to last, weren't they? Because they'd got the
name
labels.
It was hot, mind you. Yeah, it was hot. That one.
Yes, they got the name labels, and they just sewed over.
I wonder what's happened to those costumes now.
Well, there was a big auction after the company closed, so private collectors bought some. Some went off to Houston, where Alistair directed.
It's interesting that it had gone to America, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Ida sets were in Houston. So I think the only ones that weren't sold off were the yeoman, the actual warders' outfits, and the peers. But yeah, I've certainly got a few odds and ends in my loft. Yes.
What have you got?
I've got some hats from the Mikado. I have the ear trumpet that the notary used in The Sorcerer. So I've actually waved that on the screen when I was talking to John Broad on a Zoom meeting.
Do you know I never did Sorcerer?
Oh no,
I never did that one. It's a good one as well, isn't it?
So
and I didn't do Trial, didn't do Sorcerer. Did Patience, Ida, Gondoliers, Mikado, Iolanthe, Pinafore, Patience. Didn't do many Patiences, I don't think. We didn't do as many of those.
No.
Quite a few Gondoliers. I used to like Gondoliers. Iolanthe. The main ones were Mikado, Iolanthe, Pinafore, Pirates, Gondoliers. I think the main 5, wasn't it? Those are the main 5. And then they'd sometimes bring out Patience, Yeoman. Oh, and Ruddigore.
Oh, how can you forget Ruddigore?
How can I forget Ruddigore? Well, we didn't do many of those.
No.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because it's such a lovely show.
Isn't it lovely?
Yes.
It's a lovely show, that, So.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to do a behind-the-scenes tour in Eastbourne with Peter Riley in the mid-70s, and so he took me round to show me the set on Act 1, and the thing that I still remember and I still talk to people about were the fishes in the Fisher ladies' baskets. You're actually sort of seeing those up close. Easily,
they were nice
pleased.
little costumes,
Yes.
those ladies, weren't
Yes.
they? I mean, I was a bridesmaid, but the other girls were the Fisher ladies, and
Yes.
they were lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
Happy days.
Yeah,
But
they were happy days. Very happy days.
I think it shows from everything that you've said that the D'Oyly Carte was an amazing training ground for any young or aspirational singer or performer wanting to join the profession, and its closure resulted in the loss of a major stepping stone. I suppose we'd better call it a day there, and for me to say thank you so much.
I don't think I've given you much at all.
Oh, no.
It's just nice to talk.
Yes.
But I'm very, very lucky to have been in amongst them all. And Ken Sanford used to talk so much about... I used to miss his family, when he was on tour. How did they cope? Couldn't have seen their wives or their children very often.
Because you only really had Sundays, didn't you?
And sometimes you'd be travelling on that day. So if you had, you were married, it must have been very difficult. I was on my own, so it
because there were a number of marriages, weren't there?
There were a lot of marriages there, yes, there were. Yeah, but I didn't have all that. It was just me on my own, being just 18, doing what I wanted to do. It was sometimes lonely in that one, but you just got on with it because you wanted to sing, you wanted to do it. My trouble happened when I went to the Royal College of Music. I was like, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? Yeah.
But no, it's been lovely to talk to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me.
Thank you.
Okay.